little bit about me, like with my podcast. I've been podcasting now for 4 years. But before working with Althea, I would just get on the podcast maybe like, once in a while, like every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, be consistent, or maybe even a month. And then I would fall off again. Or there was a point where I would only have a podcast if I had a guest speaking on the podcast. So if I didn't have a guest speaking on the podcast, I didn't have anything to release. And I just kind of left it like that. It wasn't until God really pushed me to start speaking on my own and being confident in what I bring to the table rather than relying on a guest that I began to become a little bit more comfortable. But then I realized that if I wanted, and this is one thing that Althea was telling me, she was like, look, I want you to be consistent for the next year. And I was like, I don't, I've never done that before. I don't feel like I have the systems in place to be able to do that. But how she helped me understand why it was important was the goals that I have for my podcast, so, such as like getting speaking engagements and getting sponsorship deals and really being able to grow my network. If I didn't do what was necessary in order for me to accomplish those things, I won't be able to achieve the goals. So then I'll be looking like, well, God, you told me to do this. How come it's not working? I'm putting in, some work, but it's not coming to fruition like I expected it to be. So she really challenged me, and I like a challenge. So that I think that was what really encouraged me. Like, look, for the next year, you're going to do this, and these are the results that you can measure to see that you're successful. And even, for the last couple of months, I've been really consistent over 6 months now, every week, sharing the podcast, putting it out, making new content. I've been able to get new speaking engagements and then also getting more clients or understanding more clients for my program. So it's been good learning to be consistent. She really helped me with that.
But so Dami, we love this. But I talked to the woman who it's like, how did you go from being inconsistent to being consistent? Like, what did you have to do to be consistent? Like, what was the strength you had to rely on? What was the value? Help that woman who wants to be consistent, who knows that they need to, but they can't quite do that.
I think when it's speaking of value, for me, and I guess it goes back to why I wasn't consistent, I literally just didn't value what I had to offer. So all the experiences that I have gone through, because if you listen to, my background and my story, what I'm doing now was not what I had been planning on doing for years. So there was a disconnect between, you know, my story and the results that I had. And I couldn't see the value in it. I couldn't see that this is actually going to help somebody else, that this may not have worked out. So, how I like to think of things is something that worked out is an open door, and something that didn't work out is an opportunity for growth. And there are lessons to be extracted from each of those things. And those things are what's going to cause a transformation for people in their lives. So through my podcast, being able to share and be authentic and just be, who I am, those are the things that people are going to continue to come back for. And it is a disservice if I don't allow those people to listen to what I have to say or bring on the guests that I have to bring or whatever I'm doing. It's a disservice for them because they're waiting on me. So really it was about owning my story, owning all the lessons, the processes, and all of those things, and understanding that that is what people are coming for. That's the value. It's getting them from point A to point B. So let me not disservice those people. Let me just show up and do what I'm supposed to do. And then also adding systems into, my process. So she taught me a lot about systems. I even brought on somebody on my team that has literally opened up so much more time for me to focus on creating better content now. So, having the systems in place and then just really understanding that like what I have is it's good enough and it's valuable and it's worthy and people are interested in looking for it.
Dami, you helped a lot of people right there because we needed to hear that. What for those who didn't catch it, but most did, that your story is valuable, period. And what you have to share, people are waiting on, period. Because oftentimes, and I remember saying this to myself, when I reach this number, when I have this, there was something I remember saying, when I have my 20K month, this is going to happen. And when I had my 20K month, like I had this, like, when I have my first 20K month, I felt it would validate me. But what I had to let that go. And it's like, I am valuable as is. And when I hit that 20K month, it wasn't as, oh my God, it's amazing, like jumping up and down. It was really this peace, this knowing that this is easy. So for those of you who are struggling with being consistent, yes, you need systems. But again, it begins with owning your value. And I don't know if Dammy said this, but it's a decision you make.
I'll say it like this. Once you understand the value of what you're doing, you're just going to make time for it. So now, like Mondays, it doesn't matter. Like that's my podcasting day, either maybe for recording, editing, putting things together, because my podcast comes out on Tuesday. So once in my mind, because we really worked on mindset, like a lot of this like is about mindset, similar to what Dr. O said, poverty mindset. And poverty comes up in different ways, not just money, but it can come up in your thinking and like what resources you think you don't have, or limiting beliefs. Like those are all results of poverty. So we really tackled those things. And, Althea would keep reminding me, or being like, wow, like this is so valuable. Like, can't you see it? Or, wow, this is so good. You should be so proud of yourself. Like she just mentioned, not like when she gets her 20K months, that's when she'll celebrate. Me personally, I never celebrated anything. Like I didn't even celebrate, like when I had been podcasting for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I didn't do anything because I felt like I hadn't gotten to a certain level. So since I hadn't gotten there, it's not worth celebrating yet. So really helping me understand that every milestone, or even the littlest of things, is meant to be celebrated. And that gave me the encouragement to keep going, because it's like when you look, if for me, it's like, God was telling me to have a culture of celebration. So it's like literally anything can be worth celebrating. And that's what gave me the energy to keep moving forward. Or else it's like, oh, I haven't accomplished this yet. Oh, I haven't got this many downloads. Oh, these many people haven't signed up for my course. And those feelings can continue to keep dragging you down and make you feel like, oh, well, I haven't really accomplished anything. Why should I continue to be consistent? So I think what you did for me was you really opened my eyes to what I couldn't see, like really opening my eyes to like, wow, what a beautiful story you have. What a beautiful experience that was. Like, wow, what source of wealth that you have now that you can give to other people. Because again, one thing that she really emphasized was like, people are buying transformation. They want to get from point A to point B. They want to see how can you get them to another level. They're not looking for features. They're not looking for 50 workbooks and, oh, these are my 50, 60 templates and all this stuff. They're looking for how can you get them from one place to another. And how you do that is really in your story and your experiences and all the wisdom and the knowledge of what you have to offer.
I don't even need to say anything else. Dammy just said that so perfectly. I mean, who doesn't want to listen to Dammy's podcast after that? Dammy, in the comments, people are saying, this is for me. Thank you so much. This is helping me. Oh, Dammy, can you tell them, though, the story about your name and that part? Because I think it's very important.
I knew he was about to say that. Like, I literally looked at you and I was like, oh, she's going. So, I came to Althea and I said, look, this is the type of lifestyle that I want. Like, I really believe I'm called to be a wealthy person. And I'm at a point now where I want to own that. Because I think before, like really struggling with poverty, like, oh no, I don't need this. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, just all this different stuff. And she would just give me different assignments on, like working on my mindset. She'd be like, or I would tell her that, I feel that God is telling me like crazy stuff. Like, well, not crazy, but just like crazy for me. Like, go to a store and literally buy what you want. Like, if this candle, for example, because I like candles, is $30, like, go buy it. Oh, go buy those earrings. Go buy this. Go buy that. And really, what that was teaching me was, my source is in God, one. But two, like, this is the type of person that you are supposed to be. So live comfortably in that. So, as I was kind of processing all of that information and just, what she was teaching me, what God was telling me, I just remembered that my name really is Oluwadamilola, which means God gives me wealth. So it's like I'm supposed to be wealthy, like in all things, like ideas and like experiences and friendships and everything. I'm supposed to be a wealthy woman, and I need to live up to my name and live up to that calling. So it just changed the way that I operate. Like, I'm like, this little poverty type of lifestyle. I don't do that. I don't do broke. So
We don't
I
do
just
that.
really
We
started.
don't do that here.
Yeah. So really just living up to my name, and I mean, ever since then, everything has changed. Honestly, in the way that I think and how I operate, and being confident about what I want because I know it's mine. So yeah. But I knew you would ask me that.
Yes.
I felt it.